What is going on, everybody? Coming at you with some more One Piece gameplay. Today we have a matchup between Doflamingo and Eustass Captain Kid, and as everyone knows, Captain Kid is probably the best deck in OP01 right now still. From what we've seen, it's taking the most top cuts, it's placing the best, it's won quite a bit, and it's a really interesting deck. I think it's pretty polarizing. There's lots of stuff that you can play in it, and I think a lot of decks have some really bad matchups with it because a lot of decks just cannot deal with the 8-drop Kid. So, in my opinion, if your deck cannot deal with it, then you're going to have a rough time in the meta. And so I'm going to go ahead and open up the Kozuki Monosuke here, going first, and being able to play like so many searchers is just so good. And that's what makes green awesome, is being able to run like 3 Momo and 4 Bonnie. Your deck is just, you're always going to be cycling, and there's so many great cards that you can grab with either one. I mean, Momo's grabbing you your Izos, your Nekomanushis, and you're also grabbing Okikus with it. And so I mean, the ability to just do that, you know, over and over again really can put pressure on your opponent. I'm going to go ahead and activate Momonosuke's effect here, and we're going to go ahead and grab an Izo off of that. And then we're going to go ahead and rest and play another Momonosuke here. And we're going to go ahead and grab a Raizo. And I think with Kid, you kind of want to take shots early, get hand size, and then protect. And now he's going to swing my Momonosuke with Trafalgar Law, and I'm like, man, do I want to protect this? This seems like something that I want to do. I want to protect it. So I protect it with Izo. Just because, like, if I can keep one of these Momos, that's just nice card advantage here. And being able to cycle my deck some more. So I'm happy with that. Gonna go ahead and play a Jinbei. It's the promo pack Jinbei, which on KO, I believe it bottom decks, or it returns a 3 cost or less to hand or something like that. Momo's going to search for me Okiku, which is a fantastic card. I love Okiku. I think it's kind of broken, honestly. Some decks just cannot deal with it. It's crazy. So I'll pay 3 here, drop that Okiku. I'll swing at the Law here with my Kid. And as Kid, most of the time, you're just kind of taking shots early, preparing your hand so that you can go in to your 8-cost Kid. And he's going to swing on my Momo here and drop a Teach to bounce my Okiku. And then swing 5 at my life, which I'll take. Again, just want to keep hand advantage here. And we're just trying to survive till we can get 8-drop Kid out with a nice solid board. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 under my leader to swing at Jinbei. He's going to love Mellow to counter out of that. I'm going to restand and pitch my Okiku to swing at Jinbei again, because I can see that he's got a low amount of cards in hand, and he's going to counter out of that completely, which is fine because now he's burned his entire hand. And I'll drop a Nekomanushi here for no effect, and now he's got 2 cards in hand, and I put the Neko out here because it'll be able to swing over the Teach, and then I'm going to drop 2 Raizos to counter that, and there's going to 7-drop Dofi to bounce my Neko, which is like, okay, this is fun. Blue has a lot of cards to bounce your cards that you play, and so until you get to your 7-drop Kid, all those bounces can be pretty annoying. So I swing at the Jinbei here to pop it with Kid, and then I pay 3 here, restand my Kid, and swing at the Teach to clear board, and then I pay 3 to drop Okiku, and then I leave 1 Don up here. I just want to clear the board here. Again, just want to continue to preserve my game until I can get my 8-drop Kid out, until I'm in position to play it. I think at this point in the game, I don't have the 8-drop Kid in my hand, and I haven't seen any Bonnies yet. But my opponent does have a fair bit of Dawn active. However, his hand is pretty small. Got two cards in hand, so he's going to swing 7 at me, which I will not counter, and then I swing 7 again. Or sorry, that's 7 again, and then hits killer, and then I play the killer, and then he Gecko Moria's me to play Teach, and then he plays Teach to bounce my Okiku, and we're right back where we started. No more Kiku on board. So that kind of sucks, but I did draw Bonnie, so I'm in a decent position now where I could play Bonnie, and then I could hit up search with her. So I reveal top 5 here, and I think I finally find an 8-cost Kid, and my opponent actually just hates playing in screen. He hates the 8-drop Kid. It's one of the most tilting cards in the game if you just cannot get rid of it, and it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. So I'm just trying to think about what the next move is here, because I only got 2 life left. So I go ahead and I swing over the 7-drop Dofi, because I know he's got 1 card in hand. He's got Lose It, and then I play my Okiku again, because this card's got to stick on board at some point, right? That's the hard thing about green into blue, is that they have so many ways to bounce your Kiku, and bounce like your little blockers and stuff. He's gonna go ahead and play a Jinbei off the Doflamingo effect, swinging at 7k, and I'll take that, going down to 1 life. And now at this point, I'm just gonna protect my life going forward. So he swings 4 at my Bonnie, which I have to let go, and then 6, which I do counter out with an Izo, and then he drops Akuma. And at this point, I'm at a good spot to play my Kid. So I slot a Dawn underneath my Kiku, and I play Kid. And so now I've got 1 Dawn active to make sure that my Kid will be doing Kid things. And I rest Kid to play a killer. I slot Dawn underneath my Kid, and I got a pretty big hand as well. So I swing at the Jinbei with my Kiku resting the Kuma. He blocks, sorry, I teach, and then I swing at the Moria with my Kid, and he love mellows it, I believe. Yeah, as I said, it doesn't really matter what I did here, but yeah, he love mellows it, and draws a card off of that, and I pass back turn. So he's got, you know, some bodies here, but he has to be able to get over my Kid, and I definitely have enough to counter out a bunch of small swings at it. Like if he pulls 8 at like 3 times at me, I have 3k of counter in hand, so it's like I can deal with that. And I also have a blocker, so he's you know, like he's like, oh, I'm gonna kill this kid, and I think he forgets that I have the blocker out there. And I just like block it, and that's the turn there, and that's got to be pretty frustrating when you forget the blockers out there. But again, this card puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. So now I'm in a spot where I have a lot of advantage, and I can start going for bigger plays, especially with my my Bonnie being able to search me some and then hide behind my Kid. It's just going to be generating card advantage now going forward. So I'll go ahead and I will take a Capone off the Bonnie here, and then I will pay 5 to bounce my Bonnie to play a Capone. And I'm trying to think, I kind of misplay here, because I think I used 6 Dawn instead of 5 to play that Vulgar Law. But it is what it is. So I swing leader and I rest Kuma. For 6, he counters out, which is, I mean, that's fine. I swing leader for 5. And then I swing leader for 9. And so now I'm in a position where I have 2 blockers. I have a hell of an amount of cards in my hand here. And so it's going to be really hard for him to get over my my Kid now, because, again, a bunch of little swings I can either block or counter out. Big swings I can just block. So gonna go ahead and drop the 7-drop Dofi to return the Trafalgar Law back to my hand, and then I'm gonna swing 8k at my Kid, which I'll just counter out with a Yamato. And yeah, now like the Doflamingo can put pressure on my characters, but the thing is that like I'm in a position now where I can be a bit more aggressive and I can threaten his board more. So that's one of the benefits of Kid, is that like you just kind of stall out to this late game. So I go ahead and I pay 5 to bounce and play, and I still have 5 Dawn active. I rest 1 to activate Bonnie effect. Bonnie grab a 7-drop Kid. So yeah, I swing at leader for 5. Counter out of it. I swing leader for 5. Counter out of it. I swing leader for 9 because that's a lot harder to counter out of. And again, I think I'm paying way too much Dawn here because I should have 1 more Dawn active, but it is what it is. I think I'm doing some bad math with my Dawn here because I did 5 with Law and then I used Bonnie's effect. Yeah, I should have 1 more Dawn active, but it's not a big deal. So he's just kind of dividing up his Dawn, thinking about the best way to deal with my board. And I mean, the Doflamingo swing, it's going to get blocked from the 7-drop Dofi. The Moria swing, I'm going to counter out of because, again, it's only 1k counter from hand that I have to use. So I use Killer to counter out of that. The Jinbei, again, it's only 8k I have to counter out of, but I block with the Capone. And then he swings 8k with the 7-drop Dofi, which 1k counter from Neko. And then 8k from Dofi, and then I just Punk Gibson that out. And then he passes back turn. And now I got 2 options here. I probably should have Punk Gibson earlier, but it is what it is. On the first swing, I probably should have Punk Gibson, and then that way I could have avoided burning counter or blocker on one of the swings. But now I have an opportunity to clear board here because he's got like no cards in hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Bonnie effect again because I'm just nice and hidey. I'm gonna find another Law, and Law gonna pay 5, and I'm gonna swing at leader here with my Kiku, or sorry, swing at the Kuma, and then I swing at the Dofi. Again, he's got like no cards in hand, so clearing board is optimal here. Swing at the Teach. I play a Law to bounce the Bonnie to play a Capone, and then I pass my turn. So I mean, again, I did a good job of clearing board. I got 2 Dawn up for another counter card. I've got 3 blockers on board. I've got a decent sized hand, so I am in a fairly good spot to go for lethal next turn, just because again I have so many bodies on board, and they have 1 card in hand. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, is that the most optimal play? Is that the best play to clear board there, or should I have gone for game? I mean, there's lots of positions where I could go aggressive there and go for game, but that could be detrimental to my board because now they're in a position where there's no real chance for them to win. They have a maximum of 3 attacks, and every single one of their attacks can be blocked, and they have 1 card in hand, so they have no resources to play with. So I block the first swing with Jinbei, which I think, again, it's a card for a card at this point. And then we're going to see another 8k swing, and then I'm just going to 1k counter that with a Bonnie. And then 8k swing, and I block with Trafalgar Law here, because I think I am running low on counter in my hand at this point. And then because he plays a 1-drop Law off of the Doflamingo effect, which is interesting, I guess. So I swing 8 at leader here. Or 9 at leader, I guess, with the 1 Dawn. I swing 5 at leader. Counters out. Pay 1 to play Bonnie. Rest my Bonnie. Look at my deck again. Grab some cards. Grab a beige, it looks like. Swing at leader here, and I think I actually played this game entire Dawn down for most of it, because I don't know where my 10th Dawn is. I've been looking and I don't want to see it, so played with a pretty massive handicap, and that's just telling that, you know, you're playing 1 Dawn down against green. I play 1 Dawn down as green, and you're still able to win, which is kind of crazy that this deck did so well with only 9 Dawn for most of the game. I'm not sure where my 10th Dawn went, but I'm not seeing it on the board here. And so they're going to swing at my kid. I block with Capone. And I mean, yeah, this is just a rough spot for them to be in. They've got no resources in hand. And they play a Moria to bring back a Law. But it's like, at this point, is the Law even good? Because I can just rest it with Kiku. You know? Like, Kiku is just so good. So I swing 6 at leader, resting the Law. And, I mean, they've got to take that, unfortunately. I activate Bonnie effect just for good measure to grab a killer, in case I need to protect for one more turn. And then I go ahead and I add 3 Dawn, swing at 8 with my leader, or for 9 at my leader. At life. And then my last swing is 11k at leader, which is just not blockable. And my opponent's so tilted. But yeah, great game here from the Kid deck. I think Kid's, again, really, really strong. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning into the gameplay. And until next time, Monty out.